Hi guys, this is Robin with Weight Loss Apocalypse with another clip from a session I recorded today. This client is a binge eater, thought she was addicted to food. She's close to 300 pounds, has lost hundreds, gained hundreds, lost hundreds, gained hundreds, and she just came off of a, low carb, high protein, very little vegetables, even ketogenic diet, and now she's kind of on the binge eating side of it. And in this conversation, well, in the whole session, we're really honing in on how the body responds to consistent, chronic, meaning years and years and years. For her, it's decades. She's, I think, early 60s, late 50s. She's been going off and on famine, if you want to think of it that way, since she was single digit age. So in this, we're talking about, in this session, we're really focusing in on how the pride and thinness and the shame and fatness projects into the pride and dieting and the shame of food consumption, and how that has impacted her relationship with food. And the more she has dieted in pride, the more she has binged in shame. And in this clip, I'm describing the pride-shame continuum, or spectrum, if you want to call it that, around, if we're in survival mode with, wanting to be accepted as a pack animal and also wanting to feel secure with food, often we respond to threat in survival mode through either fighting or fleeing. So it's called fight or flight response. Other animals have the same response. Some animals get bigger, the shackles go up, humans do that, our hair stands up, we get hot. When we're in flight, we're trying to hide, we become paralyzed. We go into denial, we go into hiding, we go into blaming. So when you are feeling threatened, if you are fleeing, you're blaming others, you're hiding yourself, you're lying, you're trying to distract or deflect. Often with narcissism, people have they use gaslighting, that's deflection, lying too. So when you look at people who hide, they are they're in shame. They feel that they are failing. They have failed. They feel incapable. They feel insecure. And instead of having the confidence to fight, which is more on the pride side, they hide, deflect, and blame everything around them. So I'm describing that to her in terms of how shameful she feels about her weight. And I also describe then the other side of this spectrum, which is the pride side of fight or flight, which is fighting, the pride side of survival mode. So the shame side is fleeing and hiding. The pride side is fighting and working towards fixing it and preventing it. So on the pride side of it, there is a ton of energy going into work. And the downside of it, the upside is that it's very productive. The amount of obsessiveness in the diet industry. If you look at the diet industry and how much insanity is in just studying it, that would be fighting. The amount of work people do and with their exercise. I mean, look at how much obsession goes into dieting, and those are with more on the anorexic side. So anyways, I don't want to repeat the 10 minutes. So if you want to watch the entire session and all the other sessions I've posted this past year, you're going to need to become a patron of Weight Loss Apocalypse. Join our Patreon account and donate $5 a month. The link is below. Also below is a link to my website, where if you would like to work personally with me, you're going to need to fill in the information request form, send that in, and I'll email you back as soon as possible. So, all right. Enjoy.
And it didn't work.
There's a lot of science that shows that public shaming and shame isn't really motivating at all. It actually creates hiding. It's like in terms of how we respond as far as our survival, Like if we look at how our survival brain works, shame actually is more in line with people who hide. Fear of shame, there's a spectrum. Ooh, this is a really good part of this session. I'm excited for you to re-listen to this. We're going to talk about the pride and shame continuum. Okay. On the shame side is failure. You have failed. You are failing. So there is a sense of powerlessness in it. I am powerless. I am failing. The environment is too much for me to handle. Often with that position, people feel victimized a lot. They're constantly seeking blame for why they fail. It's that fault. It's this fault. It's that positionality that you come to me with, right? And we've talked about you're a victim. You got to stop being a victim. Yeah. That is so common on the binge eating side, which is the shame side of the spectrum.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you feel I am failing, and because we don't want that to be defined, we blame, even though internally you feel I have failed and I am failing. It's just better to blame someone else for it.
True.
Okay. Kind of like our own way of pacifying it. And often we get to the point of apathy, which is life is so terrible. I might as well just do what the hell I want. And the wanting typically is the food consumption that you feel deprived of. Right?
Right.
On the other side of the spectrum is the pride part. People in pride are the more anorexic type. Okay? In pride, there's a benefit to pride. Okay? There's a benefit to both, by the way. Everybody benefits in this, even though the outcome is extreme suffering for everyone. There is a benefit. So the benefit on the shame side is that you don't have to do anything right now. There is a hiding. You're hiding instead of fighting. So survival is fight or flight. Okay, so you're on the shame side. You are in flight or hiding. It is less taxing in terms of workload. The problem is, as you go in there and you're consuming food, you're thinking that at some point you'll go back into the pride side and work it off. There's a lot of energy that comes out of pride. It's true. There's a ton of energy in pride. Look at how you can look at our culture. Pride is essentially the power, the amount of energy in pride is why we have the beauty industry, why we have the entire exercise industry. You can look at the pride of intelligence. Think of all the energy that you have at that level of thinking. You put so much work into what you're doing because you're proud, right? There is a massive downside to this. Okay? The shame side it's a physical downside. On the pride side, it is psychological. You are a slave to the work that you are doing. You can never stop because of your pride. So you essentially, and when you've lost weight in the past and you go from the shame, I'm doing this to get rid of how bad I feel. There is a point at which you may have shifted to the other side of the spectrum, which is, I am proud of myself. Once you enter the pride side, shit gets real because you cannot stop what you're doing. If you do, you are now running from shame, which is where the pride side gets such psychological problems. That is the narcissistic side. Well, the whole thing is based on narcissism. Pride is based on self-righteousness and I am special. There is a specialness in that pride side. There is a I'm not special on the shame side. I am hiding. I am worthless. On the other side of that is I'm worth something. So as you gravitate to the pride side, as you lose weight, all of the insanities and extremisms in your exercise, in your micromanaging, in your ketogenic diet, in the removal, it's permanent. Because on the pride side, because of how much work it takes to get your pride, there is this inside fear that you will be found out as a fraud because it's not inherent. The only way for you to be successful is to have an obsessive compulsive drive. Again, pride is a lot of energy backing it. So all that energy is permanent. You cannot escape in your pride unless you are willing to go back into shame. It's an amazing process to watch.
And where's the middle?
That's the bulimia. That's the bulimics. The people who are severely impulsive around their failure. I have failed. I am failing. How can I get rid of it now? Well, I'm willing to purge. I'm willing to use a diuretic. I'm willing to starve myself. So the pendulum swing, it's really intense when someone's in the center. It's actually like massive swings between each side, which is even worse. You know, it's all bad. So I'm not going to play the game of, you know, who's mentally ill is worse. I'm just saying on the side of apathy, you're physically dealing with the hardship and you're getting a pause on the actual workload of it because it's so intense. The amount of work you have to go into pride to do it. As you get larger and larger and larger, how do you get out of it? It becomes so overwhelming, and with that comes apathy. I might as well. I'm hopeless. And so you sit with your shit, as I call it. You're sitting in your own shit and you don't know what to do. You're in paralysis. You're in the fleeing or the hiding part of survival mode, whereas the anorexics are the ones that are fighting. I'm going to fight. They have a sense of confidence in their ability to accomplish the thinness. And so they are mad. They are angry and they are fighting for thinness. They're willing to go to CrossFit for hours. They're doing the ketogenic diet. They're on this paleo thing. They are insane amounts of energy going into it. And the sad part is it's inhumane. It's inhumane. They are suffering psychologically. They cannot escape the shackles of that insanity. If they stop what they're doing, what's going to happen? Pendulum swing starts to shift. And typically they never go back into full apathy. They get stuck in that bulimic shift between I'm failed, I got to fix it, I failed, I got to fix it. So that bulimia is just torture. It's just intense torture. So for me, if I talk about my story, I was in that center point where you have both. You have both shame on such a level of detriment, and that but at the same time you're fighting for the side of the pride. So for me, I ended up binging and purging at the worst around 12 times a day because I was failing so terribly at the restriction but so fearful of shame that I was willing, in order to get rid of it, to puke everything up or exercise for hours on end. And so if I gave up the puking part of bulimia, I couldn't give up the purging part, which is through exercise and through all of this restriction, because I was stuck in both pride and shame. Like both pride and shame just basically came together and squished my soul. Right? And so as I'm working with you, clearly I'm working on the shame side. But for you to recognize it's not you that is shamed. It's the belief system that says you should be ashamed. If you listen to your heart, you can hear how dumb this whole process is. It's so dumb. No human being should be shamed for something so ridiculous, especially with how hard you've worked at it. Like, what about the work you've put into this? You have been on that pride side. That's what you're talking about when you said, I have kicked ass. Yes, you have. That pride side is so intense. It is obsessive.
It was.
It's just unrealistic. It's unrealistic. It's inhumane. And it will crush you. It will crush you. People who stay in that pride side end up dying of anorexia. People who are have to give go into bulimia and binge eating, and they end up gaining all the weight back, thinking that at some point I have to go into, I'm hopeless, I have to have a break. I'm just going to let myself gain weight. How many times have you felt that way?
Oh, a million.
But you never questioned the restrictions as inhumane. Ever.
No, I thought there was just something horribly wrong with me that I couldn't keep restricting.
Yeah, I know.
Because I was taught that, if I was...
Never blame the church. Never blame the church.
Exactly.
Never blame the diet industry. They never do anything wrong. Ever. In fact, they know everything that you don't know, and you would not do well without them. Right?